I'm Shannan Harris. Welcome to Window on Wilmington. On today's show, we'll have information on Christina Cultural Arts Center. We'll find out what Delaware Futures does. Great shows are happening at the Grand, and we'll tell you how you can enjoy fabulous opera at Opera Delaware. But first, IT Works is an award-winning IT training program provided free of charge to young adults, motivated high school graduates 18 to 26 who have not completed college. Over 16 weeks, students earn up to 2 professional IT certifications and gain on-the-job experience during a 5-week internship at leading corporations and nonprofits. Mike Purcell and Dave Garrett, who is an IT Works graduate, join me right now. Hello, IT Works graduate.
Hi, and how are you?
Fine. He said, hi, Shannon, how are you?
He's very professional.
I know.
Very
Hey,
professional.
Mike, it's good to see you again.
It's great to see you again, Shannon.
And I love having you on the show because you always bring a fabulous graduate of the program, and that is great to see that IT Works is truly working. And it's hard to believe that just a couple of short years ago, I first heard of you guys coming into Delaware, and you're full steam ahead and turning out those students.
Yes, we certainly are. We certainly are. We're proud to have David as a graduate of the program. And when you talk about a few years starting back, fall of 2010, since then, the Garrett family's been VIPs with the IT Works program. We've had Kendall Garrett, who was on with us last year, graduated from the program and is now working in IT. David's brother James has come through the program and is now working in IT. And now we have David, who's an intern at Capital One working in IT, so we're really proud. We're really proud.
That is really great. You come from an IT background, huh? I guess, right?
Sort of. It's all in the family.
So now, Mike, talk to us about the program. We know it's great training, and you get these kids all certified up with the IT certifications that they need and to move on.
Yes. All of our graduates earn the Cisco IT Essentials certification. We use the Cisco IT Essentials curriculum. It's online curriculum that they can access 24/7. And then we provide the classroom training 9 to 3 Monday through Friday for them to really get in depth with the curriculum. And then that maps to the CompTIA A+ certification exam objectives. So we also provide the training for them to go earn that CompTIA A+ certification and the free vouchers to go take those exams as well. And all that training is provided for free.
Yeah, and I was going to say, that sounds like, to me, as a non-technical person, I'll be the first to say, that sounds like a lot of training, the expensive training. How are you all able to offer such great training like that for free?
Well, through just the generosity of incredible corporate partnerships here within the city of Wilmington and the state of Delaware. We do receive some funding from Newcastle County, which is greatly appreciated. And then, again, mainly the hard work of our students.
Right.
I mean, they're the ones that produce the results that make people want to continue to support the program.
So how many students do you think have come through IT Work so far?
Wow, that's a great question. We can support up to 18 students a class. We run classes in Wilmington in the spring and the fall. So essentially 36 students a year since 2010.
Wow.
So
a
good number have come through and are continuing to be successful.
So now, David, let's get to you. You're not off the hot seat. Why did you decide to go to IT Works?
So I decided to join because I wanted the opportunity. I wasn't financially able to afford college, and I had a high school diploma, and I wanted to take a different course. I didn't want to just work at any random job. So I wanted to do something that was going to have meaning and give value to my future success. So I found out about the IT Works program through my brothers, actually. So I pretty much just applied, and it's funny because they're my younger brothers, so I'm actually following in their footsteps. But I'm happy with the success that I've gotten out of the program, and to end up at Capital One. I mean, 6 months ago, if you would have told me that I'd be working at one of a company as prestigious as
Right.
Capital One, I would have looked you in your eyes and said, no way.
Right.
But
right.
just for me to be there now and the experience and the level of knowledge that I've gained, I definitely have to thank IT Works for that. So, I mean, it's worked wonders for me.
What do you do at Capital One?
So what I do is actually, I'm in the quality assurance section. So I pretty much just test scripts for developers. Developers come up with their code for the program. Basically, we keep the Capital One website functioning. So that comes through our department on the back end.
And that's a big job to do. And you got to be proud when you hear him say that.
It's incredibly, consider it a blessing to be able to work with folks like David and see him be successful and have the success he deserves.
Right.
Hardworking, honest, dedicated, professional that just needed just that little break.
Right.
To be able to solidify himself in the industry, and it's awesome. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am so glad you could be here to tell us about that. That is great. What's next for you after this? Because now you've gone through IT Works, you're at Capital One. So where do you see yourself going after this?
I mean, sky's the limit. So not only did I get a good foundation of the IT field within IT Works, but just learning how to build a network and all of the extra material that they gave us in the IT Works program. I mean, it's not just about learning about computers. They teach us about numerous different things from emotional IQ to building resumes and just anything that's going to help us better our future. IT Works is pretty much gave us the keys to the door. Ultimately, it's up to us to walk through it. And I decided to run through it, but I definitely think IT Works. They've done a lot for me.
He's a good spokesperson.
He is. Just put the camera right on David. Right. He's doing a great job.
Am I sweating yet?
I couldn't even tell, David. I couldn't even tell. So that brings us to your recruitment for your next round of classes, because that gets underway when, in January?
The recruitment phase. We're in the recruitment phase right now.
Okay.
Our classes will begin in Wilmington late February 2015.
Okay.
And it's a competitive process to get into the program, and so we only have 18 spots, and we'll receive over 100 applications for those spots. So to be able to get the candidates that are going to really be successful in the program, we invite folks to a group interview. We invite everyone to go online and apply. It's free to apply, and the links will be up on the screen at some point in the segment.
They will be, yes.
So it's free to apply. We'll do a quick phone interview. And then, based on people's performance in the phone interview, we invite people in for group interviews. And then, based on performance in the group interviews, we scale that down to individual interviews, and then we make our final decisions on who will be accepted into the program.
Well, I don't want you to give away too much, but I got to ask you this. It is a competitive process to get in. So what are some of the things that you are looking for in potential candidates who are accepted into the program?
So a passion for technology. And a real interest in a career. They're the two main things. If you have that passion and interest, that'll get you through the days when things get a little bit difficult. Because for all of us, we all have to go through difficult times. But so it's that passion and the dedication and follow through. We really look for in the group interviews. We need to know. There's too much to know in IT.
Right.
You have to be able to work on a team. You have to be able to be depended on, and you have to know how to be able to depend on people in a team environment. So we really look for that in the group interviews. So a little sneak peek to what you might want to bring to that day. If you're invited to come to the group interviews, that would be some good things to focus on.
And you want somebody who has a direction.
Yes. We want people who know they want a career. They're working now. They're maybe stuck in that retail cycle, and they want to break out. They want to launch a career, and they're the folks we're looking for. The folks who really know that they deserve something better, and they're willing to put in the work to be able to achieve it.
Okay, well, I'm so glad you could come and bring with us one of your great graduates. We always like meeting them, and you keep up the great work, and we want to know where you are this time next year. I want to hear back from you.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah. Well, awesome. You're friends with Mike. He's the man. You know him. You're in good hands.
Mike's awesome.
And Mike, if anybody wants to find out about IT Works, what should they do?
itworks.org,
Okay.
www.itworks.org.
Okay, and we want to remind everybody that the recruitment process is starting now, and the first class will be taking place in February.
That is correct.
All right. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
so much,
joining
Shannan.
us. To all the great folks at IT Works, I said hello and congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, Arts with a Purpose when we return.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing you. Believe me, I'm good at it.
Once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell him.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? He needs something a little more
Persuasive.
yes.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Today, school kids rely on the internet for so many things: homework, math, research. What about kids who don't have internet at home? Hello, I'm Theo Gregory, Wilmington City Council President. The internet is essential, as many as 80% of low-income families do not have access at home, including many right here in Wilmington. So help bridge this gap by supporting local broadband adoption programs. Let's get more students and families connected to the power of the internet.
Christina Cultural Arts Center is a premier school of the arts with the mission to make affordable arts education and multicultural programs accessible to children, teens, and adults in a family environment. Ray Moore and Kim Graham join me now to tell us all about the programs. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Fine. So Christina Cultural Arts Center has been around for quite some time, and you offer a variety of services there. And I think sometimes people don't actually know what you all offer.
Well, we offer dance, drama, music, and the visual arts, and we serve students that are as young as 3 and as old as they choose to keep moving. In fact, one of our largest growing populations are our adult dancers.
Right.
We also offer a full-day preschool program.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yes,
that.
yeah, we are a STARS 4 program out of STARS 5, so we just recently expanded to a second classroom, so we're really excited about that. So for folks who are looking for a place for their children for the fall, consider us. We have an arts included program.
And I think it's probably cute to see the little kids dancing around and everything.
they do
Who doesn't like to see that, you know? Right? So, let's talk to us about what are the benefits of taking classes or being a part of Christina Cultural Arts Center?
Well, it's known that the arts do more than create beauty, which is obviously a clear value of the arts. I once saw the back of a magazine and it had a saxophone on it, and the comment under it said, "This is the first instrument that most doctors touch." And so it was making the point that the arts are really connected to how your brain develops. It really helps you to problem solve and be a creative thinker in the way that a straight academic curriculum does not. And it gives voice to the type of creativity that the world is looking for in the workforce today. And you can get that start at Christina.
And that's really good. And that's really nice that you had a frame of reference, you know, a saxophone. And this is the first thing that most doctors touch.
A lot of them are musicians.
That is really interesting. Didn't Bill Clinton play the saxophone? And presidents too, so now. He did play. You didn't see him on Arsenio Hall? So talk to us about the ways that Christina Cultural Arts Center reaches the disconnected youth. You know, arts do play a big role in the lives of young kids. And I think it's such a shame that we've lost a lot of arts funding. But this is a great way to reach somebody who may be in need.
We have a couple of ways, and then I'm going to ask Ray to talk about some of the initiatives that he's working with. We provide outreach services to various schools and community agencies. So, for instance, we provide self-development work that couples the arts with personal development that is used to reach adjudicated youth that are in alternative school settings. So it gives them an alternative way to express themselves. And we are now in our second year of an internship that places high school students in creative industries. So it begins to show them how they could possibly create income and make field choices that are more in creative industries. But Ray is also working on a number of areas to increase student enrollment. So I'll let him talk about that.
Thank you. Well, I know one of the main ways that I'm going about to try to increase our male enrollment, or just enrollment in general, but specifically male enrollment, is that on October 31st, we launched our first open mic. Because I know, just growing up, I'm a musician, but I'm an athlete as well. And when you're young, especially around middle school to high school, you love music. Well, everyone loves music, but when you in those prime years, you really have a connection to music, whether it be a positive or negative connection. So I came up with the open mic as a forum just to branch out on the positive visual and performing arts, such as music, whether if it's playing an instrument, whether if it's reading a poem or doing spoken word or even dance, just something positive to give back to the community, with the focus on the disconnected male youth that is in our communities. And I'm happy to say that our first two shows that we have has been fully capacitated, and more males are starting to come in. So just getting that exposure first, I think it bodes well in the future for them not only enrolling in our classes, but at the same time being more involved in the arts like maybe we once were back in, let's say, the 90s when I was growing up. So I'm really excited about that.
Did he say back in the 90s, really?
Yes.
Did he just say that? Really? Look, I don't know.
That one go.
Yeah, me too. I'm just like, really back in the 90s? What's he talking about? Is he back in the 90s? Yes.
Yeah, still young.
But that is a great idea and a great way to get, since you're trying to reach a specific demographic of people, that is a great way to get the young male youth involved.
And it's the second and fourth?
Yes, every second and fourth Fridays. So I know we have one upcoming this week, and then our next one is going to be the second Friday in January.
So when they come to do their open mic, what do you ask them? Is there a criteria? Because I'm sure, you want everybody to be able to express themselves creatively. But I'm sure we need to make sure that, we keep in mind that we want to relay a positive message, right?
Right. And that's a great question, because that was the first thing, because I wanted to publish it and broadcast it as a family center open mic, not just an open mic for adults. So we mainly had 3 rules: no cursing, no sexually explicit or derogatory language, and you get 10 minutes to speak your piece. So, and we tell people that, during the show, and we really haven't had any infractions. So it really shows people that you can express yourself without cursing. I tell that to a lot of spoken word artists that I talk to. They was like, oh, do you have any rules? And I say, yeah, you just no cursing or no derogatory language. And I always bring up like great eloquent speakers of the past, such as Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Dick Gregory. So many other people was able to relay a positive message to uplift somebody, or just talk about a political or a current issue without using vulgar language. So I just try to get that into their mind, because that helps with your creativity as well. Rather than just saying a curse word, you can say, okay, let me go back to the drawing boards, and I could find other words that could really relay the same message as a curse word could.
Right. That is really good. He's a great young man. Even though he said back in the 90s.
Right.
Let him go.
Okay. Great people.
So, Kim, we want people to really take advantage of the programs that are at Christina Cultural Arts Center. So what are some of the ways that we can go to find out what's going on, the dates and times, the great it was a preschool program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have our website, which is www.ccacde.org, and it provides information on upcoming events. It also will give information on what classes are coming up. We are currently registering for our spring semester, which starts the first full week in January. So it's the perfect time to start looking into classes. And we will have information on the website as well about our enrollment process for preschool. They can always stop by. We're open from 8 in the morning until about 8:30 in the evening. We do have a website, which is also CCACDE. I don't mean website, Facebook page. So you can go on and see upcoming events on there as well.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both for being here, and I want to thank Ray for reaching out. And please let us know what's going on at Christina Cultural Arts Center. We'd love to have you back on again, and like to hear about all the great things that are happening over there. Oh, wait a minute, I have a poem. I'm going to do some spoken word. Yes, I do. There was a plane. There was a moth. There was a flame. Snap, snap. Come on, everybody snap with me. Snap with me. Snap with me.
That was good.
Snap. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Think about.
A tree. Make like a leaf and leave. But that was good, right?
Yes, that was perfect.
I'm being creative, Paul.
That's amazing.
Or whatever. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it and want to see you back again.
Okay.
All right. Delaware Futures joins us next when we return.
We are your Wilmington City Council, and we're also your neighbors. We're asking you to let us know about your community events, achievements, concerns, and issues.
That's why we created a special email address that will connect you to all of us in City Council.
Drop us an email about things going on in your neighborhood with Community Events 22 at wilmingtonde.gov. That's Community Events 22 at wilmingtonde.gov.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Delaware Futures provides academic, social, and motivational support and cultural enrichment that empowers economically disadvantaged high school students to recognize and fulfill their unrealized potential and become matriculated college students. Evette Houston is here now to tell us about the program. Hello, Evette. How are you?
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could be here. And you know something, I often hear of Delaware Futures.
Oh, good.
And I hear great things about the program, and I'm glad you could join us today to talk to us about it and let us know what's going on.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Delaware Futures is an academic-based college prep program. We've been around for 20 years, and we have a core mission program which serves high school students and helping them prepare for college. Right now, we have 85 students in our high school program. We've just recently expanded, and we're now actually reaching students as they're younger. So we are working with students at Byard Middle School in grades 6 through 8 to help them prepare for high school, but also developing a college mindset so that they know post-high school they're going into college.
Now, how did the kids come to you? Are they referred to the program, or do you have to select them for the program?
Well, it's a little bit of both. We do have a very rigorous recruitment process, which we're in the thick of our recruitment season now. So December through February, we recruit at most of the middle schools throughout Newcastle County, and we ask the guidance counselors to work with us as partners and screen students to make sure that they meet our eligibility requirements. So for our eligibility requirements, the students have to have at least a 2.8 GPA. They also have to be eligible for free or reduced lunch, and they have to have an express desire to attend college. Once the guidance counselors screen those students, we go into the schools and the programming staff makes a presentation to the students. The students then can opt and select as to whether or not they want to get more information about the program. If they choose to get more information, we send them information in the mail, and then the family comes out to the information night, and that's when they actually enroll for the program on site and schedule for an interview. So it's very rigorous, and there's also a face-to-face interview component as well as a home visit for students who become finalists.
So let me ask you something. Once a child is admitted into the Delaware Futures program, what is a typical day like for them with Delaware Futures?
Sure. Well, that depends on the actual classification. Each class has a different objective. So for incoming freshmen, they are focused on the team building, leadership activities, and it's a pretty much academic boot camp during the academic school year. For sophomores, they're focused on financial literacy. Juniors are focused on SAT prep, standardized testing, as well as community service. And then seniors are focused on the college enrollment process. Now, we are a year-round longitudinal program, so we operate along the school district's calendar September through May, and then we transition to our experiential learning June through August. So we have two types of programs that run at two different points in time. During the summer, we actually have overnight trips, and we also have paid internships. So our incoming freshmen have two experiences. They have the DuPont Environmental Educational Center, which is a 5-day experience. They learn about water preservation, marsh restoration. They also do a academic week boot camp where they are learning how to transition from middle school to high school. The sophomores are out in the field at one of our internship host agencies. They're working, they're getting real career experience, and they're paid.
Which is a plus.
That's a plus, yes. Juniors are away on a college tour. They usually plan the college tour during the academic school year with their peers as well as their class advisor, and they typically choose to go out of state. And then our seniors are usually focused on the college application process. We try to have the senior class advisor assign the senior students to a school of their choice to do a diversity weekend or a multicultural week-long at the school of their choice so that they can really make sure that that school's a good fit for them prior to going to the campus in August.
Now, are there students that have been in the program for more than 1 year, returning students that get a chance to come back to the program, like if I'm a freshman in high school? I've been, lucky enough to be selected, my sophomore year, junior year, and senior year.
Yeah, well, once the student is enrolled in the program at their 8th grade period, we actually hold the student throughout their 4 years in high school.
Oh, that's good.
So the students don't have to necessarily re-enroll. But once they're in, they're committed to the program for their full high school career.
And the reason why I asked you that, Evette, is because I wanted to know what somebody who's graduating, going off to college, what has the Delaware Future experience been for them? Because in some cases, this has helped molding them.
Sure. Well, that's an excellent question, primarily for our alumni students. We have over 200 alum in our network.
Wow.
And most of the alum are actually really invested in coming back to the program, reinvesting in terms of helping the current students get from where they are to where they need to be. We have a dynamic alumni video where the students actually speak about their very personal experiences in the program and how certain program components help them through college, but also help them post-college in terms of their professional careers. So we actually have one student who comes to mind. Last year he was honored as one of the two of our Haskell Wyeth awardees, and he's currently at Boston University, and he's going for both a MD as well as a PhD. So it's a pretty aggressive program.
Yeah.
But just to know that he has come from, a situation that looked, really challenging and like he wouldn't make it, and the fact that he's now on the other end and he has survived all of the things that came up as challenges and barriers for him, and he's made it. So it's really good to know that.
Kudos to him, and kudos to the program. That is really great. We'd like you to bring him back if he's if he's available. I mean, in between his MD and PhD, I mean, I'm sure he's busy.
Absolutely.
That is really great.
Yes.
And do you think that I guess these kids coming into the program, you never know what to expect, but that just goes to show you that anything is truly possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we have students who come into the program, they have different needs. There are students who are coming to Delaware Futures because they need that strong, rigorous academic support, that additional, academic enrichment. Then we have students who are academically sound and they need a social outlet. They may be socially awkward, or they may really need to develop a peer group that's going to be supportive of their goal of going to college. Because sometimes pursuing post-secondary education in certain environments, where you don't have a role model, or the students have people in the community who are not going on the same goal, they're ridiculed for that. So some students come to us because they need a positive peer network to say, okay, I want to go to college, and there are other peers around me who want to go to college, and that's okay.
Right.
So we have a lot of students who come, and it's a case-by-case basis.
Right. What do the parents say to you?
Well, the parents are really engaged in our program. They love the support. They love the fact that the students have a safe environment and they can come to on a weekly basis. We also have a very engaged parent council. Right now, we are actually working with our Parent Leads Committee to develop their annual fundraiser. So last year, our parents had their car wash fish fry fundraiser, and it was quite a success.
You get your car wash and get a fish fry sandwich all there, right?
Absolutely, and they had their own system, and we had lots of parents. We probably had over 15 parents who came out. We had members of our board who came out. We had lots of students who came out to support. And this is an annual event that the parents actually plan for themselves. They get sponsorships to support, the expenses of the event, but they're very engaged and they are very, very much appreciative of our program. This year, they are planning a party with a line dancing component where they can get professional groups to come out and do line dancing, and they're going to raise the funds, and actually all the funds are going to be donated to Delaware Futures to support the program.
Wow, that's great. So Evette, if somebody watching right now, whether it be a parent or even if it's a student, and they're hearing everything that you're saying about the program, talking about the success stories, what would you say to them?
Well, first I'd say if you are eligible to apply for our program, definitely research Delaware Futures. Take a look at our website, figure out who we are, what we do, try to understand if this program would be a good fit for, you as a prospective student.
Right.
The other piece is I'd say consider, volunteering, because we have volunteer opportunities. We need volunteer mentors, we need volunteer tutors to help the students in their core subjects, and we need support in that fashion. So if there's anyone who has the time or the interest and has the ability to give back, please consider giving back to Delaware Future students.
And enrollment. So for people to fill out the application process to get into the program, that we should go on now?
You should actually go onto the website, and you can also call the office. Our website is www.delawarefutures.org. And our phone number is going to be listed as well. You can call and actually RSVP for the information session. At the information session, the families will get more information about the program, actually enroll in terms of filling out the application, and then schedule a face-to-face interview. Those information sessions take place in March. And so once a prospective parent calls the office or checks the website, they can get more information about the process.
Now, I can't let you leave without answering this one question, but you don't have to give everything away. Ask the guest before you. When you do the interview, what are you looking for in a potential Delaware Futures student?
Okay, so we have what we call a profile student. We're looking for a student who obviously has an expressed desire to go to college. We're looking for a student who has done well academically, or a student who has not done very well academically but still has great potential to be a quality college candidate. We're also looking for a student who may be committed to their community, so they've had some experience with community service and volunteerism, whether it be in their school, maybe at a church or another extracurricular program. We're looking for a student who's active in their school currently, so whether that be sports, whether that be some type of leadership club. We're looking for a student who's really active and is going to transfer that same level of enthusiasm and activity to the Delaware Futures program and finish strong and become a college candidate.
Evette, I'm glad you came today.
Thank you.
And I want you to bring back one of your success stories when you come back. It would be really great, and I think a great thing for the community to be able to see, a person who has transitioned and moved on.
All right. Well, you can bet on it.
Yeah, and go Boston. I definitely want to meet him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Next, fun shows at the Grand when we return.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Accidents happen. So do huge medical bills. Find out how to get health insurance coverage by visiting choosehealthde.com.
The Grand Opera House entertains and engages through exceptional, diverse live performances and educational outreach. Mark Fields is here now to tell us about some of the great performances that are coming up at the Grand. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Shannon, how are you?
I'm doing fine, and let's just say this. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
For those of you who don't know, Mark has a new role, well, new title, new role at the Grand, and Mark is now the executive director, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm excited for the opportunity.
I know, right? And I know we were talking, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes there, but to me, I always see you. So I was like, well, weren't you already doing that? Yeah.
Well, I've been the managing director for
Right.
8 years now, with Steve Bailey as our executive director. And Steve's background and his skill has always been programming.
Right.
He's the one that schedules most of the artists that perform at the Grand. And my background has always been more administrative. And what we've gradually evolved to is we're kind of adjusting the titles so they more accurately reflect the positions that we have. But part of what's driven it is how the Grand has changed its national profile in recent years. With some of the top quality artists that we have brought in recent years, like Chicago and Elvis Costello and Straight No Chaser. The Grand has a national profile that it hasn't had in the past. And we're very excited about that, and it's created a new opportunity that we now have prominent artists and their managements coming to us saying that they want to play at the Grand.
Right.
And what that means is these are artists and managers that we need strong, close relationships with, and it just requires more of Steve's time. And so for a while he was balancing the programming needs of the Grand against the administrative needs of being the executive director, and we just decided it would be better if he focused on that. And it has created some wonderful opportunities for us. I mean, you know, you've been in that room. It's a wonderful place to see a show, but it's also a wonderful place to perform a show.
Right.
And Delaware audiences are very gracious to artists who perform there. That room is just a marvel to look at when you're standing on the stage. And as artists have come here and played and had such a great experience, they've told other artists and they've told their managers who represent other artists. And now we have people knocking on our door, which is a terrific place to be in. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to
thank
both
you.
of you.
Thanks.
And I'd like to see a flock of seagulls there, but he won't sing Iran anymore. He said he's sick of singing that song. And that was their biggest song. It's the only song I know by a flock of seagulls. But he won't sing it, so I guess don't bring them.
Okay, well, I'll scratch them off the list.
Yeah, because if he won't sing that, we don't want him to come. Well, yeah, that's all I know them for, right? And the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, oh gosh, I'm dating myself. Let me stop, Mark. So now let's talk about some of the great things that are going on, because now you got Live at the Baby Grand, and that's a series, and it's in its second year, right? So that's a nice big program going on.
Yes, we're very excited about that. What we did is a couple of years ago, the Grand took a very big step in reorganizing, and quite frankly, it was a painful step. We reduced our budget, we eliminated staff positions, a lot of them, And this is not unusual to the Grand. A lot of arts organizations, both here in Wilmington and across the country, have had to kind of make these painful changes in the recession. And we didn't want to do it, but we had to do it. And the good news is that the Grand has come out of that in a very healthy way. We had ended the last season with an operating surplus, and we're projecting a surplus for this current year. Our ticket sales, both last year and this year, are running ahead of projection.
Mark, I got to ask you, and I don't want to get too much off track, but it seems like the arts are always the first thing to get cut. But you know what? Time and time again, I hear guests that sit on this couch and say, listen, the arts are really important. This is, stimulation for the youth. It helps, develop, X, Y, and Z. But they are the first things that get cut.
That's true. There is a disconnect there. I think people, they appreciate the importance of the arts, but the importance of the arts in the context of society is something that it's a little less, it's more abstract, I guess. There's all sorts of research that we know how the arts benefit a community, and there's no city in the United States that has revitalized without a healthy, thriving arts community. And yet, when you put that up against, some other basic human needs, the arts tend to suffer by comparison. I firmly believe, or I wouldn't be in this business, that the arts meet a basic human need too, but that's an argument that doesn't necessarily prevail with everybody.
Right. Well, let's talk about some of the great shows and all the fun things that are happening at the Grand.
Oh, we've got a great beginning of 2015 coming up. Paula Poundstone, the comedian, is coming in January.
She's funny.
She's a very funny woman. One of the things I say about Paula is, there are people who say funny things, and then there are people who are funny.
Yeah, she's funny.
And Paula is just funny. I couldn't tell you a joke of hers, but she makes me laugh every time I hear her. And comedy is still on tap in January as well. We've got Ron White coming as well, Tater Salad from the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and he's been with us 3 times before and has sold out every time. And then in between those 2 dates, we have a very interesting thing back in our Baby Grand series where we're focusing on emerging artists. We have a show that's called Tubular Bells for Two, and it's the talk about dating myself. It's the Tubular Bells music from the movie The Exorcist that we all listened to in our dorm rooms at one point in the past. But what's amazing is 2 guys recreate the entire soundtrack from the movie The Exorcist, the Tubular Bells. And it's almost comical to watch them running around on stage and playing different instruments at different times.
Get out of here.
But it's just 2, so Tubular Bells for 2.
That's interesting.
Yes. Then in February, we have a very interesting troupe for families coming called Frogs. It's a company called Imago Theater, and they do silent comedy, physical comedy, with a lot of big animal costumes. And it's somebody on the crew has a big animal costume, I guess. So that'll be fun. And then another show in the Baby Grand that we're very excited about. It's a Peter, Paul, and Mary tribute band called Hanalei. So
band called Hanalei.
Yeah, so instead of a land called Hanalei, it's a band called Hanalei. And they do all this great music from the early 1960s. Peter, Paul, and Mary, the Mamas and the Papas, Bob Dylan. So it'll be a little bit of flower power on the stage of the Baby Grand.
Go flower power. Yeah. And I want to remind everybody, besides all the great shows that you do for the adults, you have a phenomenal kids program that I think that people really need to make sure they pay attention to. Schools, parents. It's really great. You guys work hard at that. And
thank you. Thanks for mentioning
Pam was here,
that.
I thought it was really good.
The Grand gets most of the public attention for the things that, the artists that we put on our stage. But you're right, there's a lot that we're doing in the community.
Yeah.
The School Matinee Series, and I know that Pam Manacchio has been here with you and has talked about our great Summer in the Parks program, where we engage local artists to go out and perform in the neighborhoods, in people's, near their homes, in their parks. And that has been a terrific success for 2 years and a great partnership with the city. And we're going to be back again in the summer of 2015.
And one thing that Pam and I both discussed is that, the children's series, a lot of times these are these kids' first time being in a theater setting.
Absolutely.
So that's a big deal.
Yes. We're introducing them to the idea of live performance. And part of what we do in our holistic approach to these school matinees is that we provide material to the teachers before the kids come about theater etiquette and how you, because you know it's not the same as watching a TV show.
Right.
You know, you're not really supposed to talk back, and so you know, we give the kids an idea of what that experience is like, and you know. It's wonderful to see kids come into that venue and just be bowled away by how beautiful and historic and that Grand Opera House is. It starts them off on a great live performance experience.
Yeah, well, keep up all the great work at the
thank
Grand,
you.
Mark. And if anybody wants to find out about the shows coming up or just find out about programs at the Grand, what do they need to do?
Our website is thegrandwilmington.org, and you can call the Grand box office at 837-GRAND.
Okay, thank you so much. It's
Thank you.
always a pleasure. Tell the folks at the Grand I said hello.
Will do.
All
Thanks.
right.
Glad to be with you.
Thank you. Don't go away. Opera Delaware is up next when we return.
I want my Ed TV. I want my Ed TV.
I want my Ed TV.
I want my Ed TV. I want my Ed TV. I want my Ed TV.
Now.
I want my Ed TV.
I want my Ed TV.
Where am I looking?
You're looking at me.
I'm looking at you.
Just look at me.
course.
And it's Opera Delaware. And you're not going to sing, but I just sang Opera Delaware because I wanted to.
I love it.
Okay, so Opera Delaware is a professional nonprofit opera company with a reputation for excellence in both opera and the arts education.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And Brendan Cook, even though you're not going to sing, it's here now, and I'm not going to be mad at you. But don't laugh. I want him to sing. I love his voice, but he said he's not doing it today.
Too kind. I'm off the clock today in that regard.
So it seems like I see you once a year to talk to us about these fabulous things that are happening at Opera Delaware.
This is our third visit. I can't believe it. It feels like
know,
yesterday
right?
that we met. But
Yeah,
we're very, very busy right now. A lot of great things going on. We started our season in October with several sold-out performances over at our studio property. Next up for us is in February. For Black History Month, we're doing this, best way to describe it is a living documentary about Leontine Price and Marian Anderson, sung by a young African-American soprano, Adrienne Danrich.
Yes.
Who's just wonderful, but it's great. She'll do some singing and some talking about how important these two figures were, not just in the opera world, but the civil rights movement and just as part of our country's history. So very excited about that. And then we get a little bit of a breather, but in May, we've actually got 3 different productions going on at the same time. So
that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But the idea is to get people to come from outside of the area and spend some time and some dollars here in Wilmington, because opera fans all over the country are kind of starved right now.
Really?
It's a very expensive art form, and a lot of regional companies have closed their doors due to lack of funding. So you've got a lot of folks that, demand outweighs the supply. So we're banking on the fact that, I mean, this is such a beautiful place to visit in May.
Right.
So, you know, conceivably you could come here from Baltimore,
Right.
from New York, spend
Right,
2 days,
right,
see
right.
3 different shows, and look at a lot of the other wonderful things that this area has to offer.
Right.
So that's what
That
we're
sounds
banking on.
good.
Yeah.
So look, the 3 shows that you have coming up, how did you choose them?
Well, a lot of it we chose based on which artists we could secure. So the sort of crown jewel in the festival is an adaptation of Bizet's Carmen that was done for Broadway by this fellow named Peter Brook. It's a 90-minute distillation of Carmen. So it's got all the greatest hits, and some of the fat has been trimmed, but it's a great sort of first opera for people because it's
Right.
90 minutes, no intermission. You get your greatest hits, and I think we're gonna create some new opera fans with that one. But that piece we chose because we have the right personnel to really do it justice. We've got 4 principal singers that sing these roles all over the country, all over the world, frankly,
Right.
that are going to be here with us. The other 2 offerings, one of them we just chose because it's a work that's not done very often.
Really?
And we're performing this one in concert. It's Leo Delibes' Lakme, which you'd recognize some of the music from TV commercials.
Really?
When you come, you will recognize some melodies, but it's a very underdone opera, and we wanted to do it because we want people to hear it. Then the third program that we have is sort of a highlights program. I like to call it the gateway drug to opera. You know, people can come to the performance in their jeans and, you know, drop the preconceptions about what opera is. But it's sort of in tandem with the Mid-Atlantic Wine and Food Festival. We're doing a series of highlights concerts that are devoted to the themes of wine, women, and food. So
Wine, women, and food.
it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Right.
The key part of that performance is a 20-minute one-woman opera that is essentially Julia Child's famous chocolate cake episode set to music, and it's really, really wonderful. The mezzo-soprano literally bakes a chocolate cake while she's singing, and it's really terrific, fun, lighthearted stuff. Again, I sort of try to throw open the doors to opera and remind people that it's for everybody. It's not this stuffy art form that some people think.
And we've talked about that in the past, like how people, you know, like get into it. Like some operas aren't as, I don't want to say sophisticated, but aren't as hard to understand. They're easy operas to understand, so you can follow.
Yeah, there are some things that, you know, I'm always careful when I send someone to their first opera because you don't want to send them to something that they don't have the vocabulary for. But the vast majority of it, you know, these are about a range of human emotions that we all identify with. So it is very accessible, and we always project the translation next to the stage, and so you know what's going on. But you know, sometimes someone that doesn't have a frame of reference for it, you say opera, and they get, you know,
like,
they go, I don't know.
They see the lady with the Viking
I'm
hat
not going to
on.
understand. It's going to be the big lady in horns, and it's just not that. She only appears in 3 operas, and when she does, she's great. But yeah, we have this unfair sort of perception of what opera is. It is as relevant today as it was when it was written. I mean, it's this art form that's been around for 420 years.
Yeah.
It's got some great history, some wonderful stuff.
Some real staying power.
Yes, I think so.
Definitely.
Well,
what do you think you do to get the younger generation involved in opera?
Well, I always answer that question. Well, I sort of deflect that question because I'm not sure that a younger audience is what we need to be focusing on. I think opera has always had a traditionally older audience. I just want new audience. I love changing somebody's mind. I love when I can meet somebody in their 60s that's gone through their whole life saying, "Oh, I hate opera." And I say, "Well, have you ever been?" And they say, "No, I've never been." I say, "Well, you just validated my 6-year-old's argument against cauliflower. So how does that make you feel?" So we do a lot of things, you know, to introduce children to the opera. We have an in-school performance that we do, and we collaborate with the Wilmington Children's Chorus on some educational initiatives. But I'm really concerned about the kids' parents because we have this 50-year vocabulary gap. Opera used to be on
Right.
TV. It's not any
Right.
longer. You know, when opera is shown in mass media, it's being made fun of. So I feel like we've
Right.
got this vocabulary building we have to do for folks in my generation. So
You know what? And I'm going to say something. I do remember watching opera on TV, and I'm going to tell you it was on WHYY, and it usually be at some great concert hall, and
Sure.
you know, yeah.
And they still occasionally do that, but I meant even in more mainstream media, like the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh,
He
yeah.
used to have the opera icons of the day get up right after the popular comedians, and it was a true variety show. But what they showed the public was the real deal.
Right.
Today, sometimes it's about story over substance. Sometimes, so you've got the
Right.
12-year-old girl or the blind guy, and you're not necessarily hearing opera singers any longer. So it is a challenge for us.
That's a good point.
But we do love bringing it to the kids. There's nothing like watching a kid's face light up when they hear the transformative power of the unamplified human voice. I mean, it's awesome. But my charge is, well, what do we do to keep mom and dad interested? So when they go home and they say, Mom, I saw this great opera today, mom needs to know what it is too. So
Right.
that's what we're working on. But we're giving it the old college try, Shannon,
That's all you can keep doing,
That's
Brandon.
right.
Plugging away, and I
That's
think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So now, if anybody wants to know about the shows coming up, Delaware Opera and Opera Delaware, and find out more about just what you guys do in general,
Sure.
what should they do?
Best thing to do is to visit our website, which is operade.org. Our phone number's on there too. You pick up the phone and call me. I'm always happy to talk to folks.
And you guys are truly accessible over there.
Oh, we are. We have 3 staff members, and all of us would be more than happy to talk to you.
And Jason is very hard worker and a good guy.
He's a good man. He's,
Yes, he
we all wear a lot of hats. Titles are kind of irrelevant over there, but we're all working to keep. A lot of people don't know this is the nation's 11th oldest opera company.
Wow, I didn't know that.
When I started, it was the 14th oldest, so we've lost 3 in the last 2.5 years. Wow. But we're still here, and we're fighting to find ways to stay relevant and to stay here for our community, because been around for 70 years. It's not going anywhere on my watch.
Thank you. Folks, let's go on out and keep the arts alive.
Love it.
Visit Opera Delaware. And for that parent that might say, I don't like the opera, check out the opera.
Give it a try. Better than even money will get you back if you come there the first time.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Well, I'm always glad to see you, Brendan.
Always
Thank
glad
you
to
so
see
much
you.
for coming.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Great.
And for everybody here at WITN Channel 22, I'm Shannan Harris, and I will see you next year. And